All right. We're good to get started. So thanks for coming out tonight. We've got a talk from Nandini. She's an AWS community builder, and we had originally met through the AWS New Voices program, which is a really great community-led mentoring for helping folks getting started in public speaking. So I'm really excited to see her talk tonight. It's going to be about unleashing serverless power, crafting AWS Lambda functions, and scheduling with EventBridge Scheduler. So, ready to take it away?
Hello all. Today we will be looking into a great topic, mastering serverless programming paradigm and crafting Lambda functions and scheduling them using the AWS event-bridge schedulers and verifying the results using the CloudWatch logs. Before getting into the session, I would like to start with a small story. So, how many of you would like to snag great deals of products during a Black Friday? We all will be happy to purchase the products with great deals during Black Friday, right? Imagine that we have an online store that is getting ready to accommodate good user experience for its online users when trying to purchase the online products, right? So, how the IT team prepares for it? It will prepare by adding additional servers to handle the anticipated surge in the traffic. However, estimating the exact capacity needed is tricky, right? And they end up over provisioning to ensure that the users are getting a good shopping experience. So there is a guesswork happening here, and also what is going to happen as the end result. As the sale kicks off, the website experiences a massive influx of traffic, causing the servers to struggle to keep it up. So, despite over provisioning, some users experience slow page loads and network timeouts. So, ultimately, that results in poor user experience. So, meanwhile, in the background, the servers continue to run at its full capacity even during the periods of low traffic. This results in unnecessary cost as the company is paying for the resources that are not being utilized. So, what is the problem here? The traditional servers struggle to meet the unexpected traffic that leads to poor user experience and unnecessary cost for the company, right? So, today we'll be seeing the serverless paradigm that is going to solve this problem that we had faced in using the traditional servers. My name is Nandini Rajara. I'm a certified AWS Solution Architect Associate and a QA engineer by profession. I'm also an AWS community builder. I own a YouTube channel, Cloud Tuner. If you're someone who is preparing for AWS certifications or looking for great contents related to AWS, please do check out my YouTube channel, Cloud Tuner. And that's me. Let's start with today's session. So the three key takeaways that we are going to have in today's session are will be introduced to AWS Lambda, that is a serverless service, computing service offered by AWS. And we would craft some simple Lambda function. And then we'll be scheduling the Lambda functions using AWS Event Bridge Scheduler. And we will be verifying the triggers using the CloudWatch. So, what is serverless mindset, right? So, here, serverless is a programming paradigm where we don't have to worry about managing or provisioning the servers that are required to be used. That is done for you, and you just need to focus on computing or coding. that is required for your business goals. All other things like managing the servers, maintaining the servers, scaling the servers are done for you. Interesting, right? So let's see what is AWS Lambda. AWS Lambda is a serverless computing service provided by Amazon Web Services. It allows you to run the code without provisioning or managing the servers. You only pay for what you have used or the compute time that is being consumed. So it is simple here. You upload your code, Lambda will take care of everything required to run and scale it, from infrastructure provisioning to high availability to fault tolerance. Now, what are the benefits of AWS Lambda? So one of the important benefit of AWS Lambda is that you only need to focus on coding, as we have discussed earlier. You don't have to worry about scaling. The scaling of the servers is done for you, and horizontal scaling is happening here, meaning that additional servers are being added, and that is taken care for you, and you only need to focus on coding and focus on your business goals. No worries about server management. Now it integrates with other AWS services easily. Our Lambda is a best buddy of other AWS services such as CloudWatch. That is one monitoring and observability service, and IAM is a security service. In addition to that, Lambda is a best buddy of S3, that is a storage service, DynamoDB, that is a database service. So Lambda integrates with other services very easily. Now, we are going to discuss one more AWS service in this session, that is Event Scheduler. That service would be used for scheduling the Lambda functions that we have ordered. So Lambda is a best buddy of Event Scheduler service also. Like that, it will gel with other services very easily. Now, another benefit of Lambda functions are, you only pay for what you use. It's just like the microwave, right? So when you boil a coffee in the microwave, uh, how much time that microwave is, run to heat up the coffee, that much energy being consumed by microwave to heat up the coffee, right? You only pay for that much amount of build time. So how much compute time the Lambda is being used, that much amount only you will be paying for the compute service. So you only pay for what you have used, unlike how we have done in the traditional servers. We ended up paying for the idle time also in the traditional servers. That is not going to happen here. You only pay for what you use, right? And another important benefit of Lambda is that you can bring your own code. You can create Lambda functions using different languages such as Java, Python, .NET. There are many languages supported by Lambda functions, and you should be able to see that in the demo quickly. So Lambda will allow the users to order the functions in any of the languages that is supported by it, be it Java, Python, or .NET. So we'll see that in the demo soon. Now, one important thing that we have to note with respect to Lambda function is that the max timeout is 900 seconds, meaning that you cannot have Lambda functions that would get executed more than 15 minutes. They are short lived. Okay, so let's get into a quick demo of crafting the Lambda functions. So let me just quickly share another screen. I hope you are able to see my screen, right? Is my screen on visible to you? So
Yeah, we can.
I think we are on the AWS console.
Yeah, we can see it. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel. So Now we are on the AWS console. I have logged into the console using the IAM user. Now, in order to go to the Lambda dashboard, let's actually type here the Lambda. So, so Lambda service has populated here in the dropdown. I'm just clicking that. I'm getting into the Lambda console. So now, if you look at here, we are going to create a simple Lambda function, right? So you just need to click create a function, and all that you need to do is you have to do some configuration. So author from scratch is selected here. I'm going to use that option, but there are other options too, like use a blueprint or container image. Now I'm going to use author from scratch, and here let me give a function name. So today I'm going to create a function uh, to welcome a user with a beautiful message. So I'll just show you the Lambda function. So let me quickly share my screen. So one minute, I'm having some issue with the screen sharing. I'm trying to take one article, so this could be a moment. Okay, so okay, I hope you are able to see my screen now. So you are able to see one blog, right? So that is a blog that we are going to use. I have created a simple blog that would help us to create simple Lambda functions. This is my dev2 blog that I would write articles related to different technologies related to AWS. So here, some articles that I've created for configuring the Lambda functions also. So let me just select that article. I'll be sharing the link of the article at the end. You can use that and try it out. So here, I have given 5 recipes. So one of the recipes only we are going to use today. So if you look at here, we are going to use this particular function of welcoming the user, and the Lambda function will print a message. So we'll see how we can configure the Lambda function. So first we are going to give the function name. So let me give a valid function name, welcome user. And I'm going to use a Python language for now. So if you look at here, as discussed earlier, we have many different languages that are supported by Lambda to create the Lambda functions. So .NET, Java, Node. So today we are going to use Python. And I think, one more configuration that we have to do it here is we have to select a execution role. So as we have already discussed, Lambda is the best buddy of IAM service, right? So here we have to give the Lambda function some permission to access the resources. So the role is going to do that for you. So we are going to set up a role that will give the Lambda function to access the required resources. So I'm going to use an existing role here. So Lambda basic execution. Now I'll show you the permission that we have given for this role. So only the basic permissions are being added to the policies of this role. So this is the IAM console, and you can see the policy that is getting attached to this role. So you can see that it is able to access the log group and create log stream and put logs. So that is a basic function that we have given to this particular role. Okay. So let me close this, and I'm going to use this role, Lambda basic execution role. Rest of the settings, I'm going to leave it to default. Okay, I'm not going to do anything with respect to advanced settings. I'm leaving all the other things to default selections. Now let's click create function button and we'll be able to create the Lambda function. So once the Lambda function is created, you'll be able to see the code tag. So in the code tab, a default code is loaded for you. So that we will be replacing with our code here. So before getting into replacing this code, let me just quickly jump to our code. So what this code does. So here we are giving a message, welcome, and we are giving these two curly braces. This is for inputting the user first name and last name. And this input of user is going to be done using a test event. We'll see that now. And whatever message that we have added to this message variable, that is being printed on the console. The function is quite simple. So let me just copy this function and I'm going to replace the default code with our function that I have copied. And let me just deploy this. Now we just need to input the user, right? So for that, let's create a test event. So for that, configure test event that we have to click here. We need to give an event name. So test event one. And I'm going to create a JSON. So this event JSON is in the JSON format. So we'll be providing the input. So we need two inputs here, right? So as per our function, we need first name and last name, right? That we'll be providing in a JSON format. So I'll just show you how we will configure the test event. So this is the JSON that we are going to feed it here. So the first name and the last name that we have given in this event JSON would be added to our message when the function is invoked. Let's save this and now let's quickly invoke this Lambda function. So I'm just clicking the test button. Let's see the result. You can see welcome Ruby J to Cloud Tuner, get cloudified with AWS. See, that was quick, right? We are able to see the result and you can also see a couple of more things. Duration and build duration. You are only paying for the build duration, that is 13 milliseconds, right? So uh, you only pay for what we use with respect to Lambda functions, right? So that is the art of crafting simple Lambda functions. Now you can use Lambda function or you can author Lambda function to do uh, integration with other services also. If you want to create a DynamoDB table using the Lambda function, you can do that also. If you want to upload or if you want to resize the photos that are uploaded to the S3 bucket, if you want to set the size of the photos uploaded to the S3 bucket to a thumbnail version, you can do that. As and when the photos are uploaded to the S3 bucket, then you create a Lambda function to resize the photos. That will also be possible to get it done using Lambda functions. So there are different use cases for Lambda functions. So a couple of them I have mentioned, and there are other recipes also in this article that you can try it out to have a basic playground uh, of Lambda function. If you want to use it, you can definitely try out the recipes that I have mentioned in this blog. So there are Lambda function to create the square root of a number. You can also create the function to calculate the length of your name. These are simple Python-based Lambda functions which you can try it out. Okay, so now let's get back to our slides. So I'm again going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to this slide deck. So I hope you are able to see my slide deck, right? So um, 1 minute. So this is the slide deck. So let's get back to the slideshow. So we have seen the crafting Lambda function. Now let's get into another beautiful service, that is AWS Event Bridge Scheduler. So as the name indicates, it is a scheduling service. You should be able to schedule your task. Okay, Event Bridge Scheduler is a AWS service that will allow you to create, run, and manage your scheduled task at a scale. You should be able to schedule the Lambda function that you have ordered using the Event Bridge Scheduler. That is what we're going to try it now. With even with scheduler, you should be able to create single or recurrent schedules also. Okay. Now we'll just get into the demo. So we have created the Lambda function. Now we need to schedule that Lambda function to get it executed. Now this is a very simple Lambda function that we have authored today. Think of the use case in a bigger picture. Like if you want some schedules, like if you want to share some emails to the if you want to share some emails to the users at a particular point, or if you have a Black Friday that is happening and you want to let the users know about the deals that you have through an email, you can actually create a Lambda function and you can still schedule that using the event bit scheduler. So that is a bigger use case for this event bit scheduler. Event bit scheduler is used for scheduling the task. So we'll see how we can actually schedule the Lambda function that we have created using the event bit scheduler. So I'm going to reshare my screen. So let's get back to the AWS console one more time, and let's now explore how we can play with the event bit scheduler service. Okay, so if you look at here, I'm going to share the AWS console. Now we are going to see another beautiful service, event bit scheduler. So on the AWS console, I'm going to use AWS Event Bridge Scheduler. Okay, this is the service that we are going to use it. So on the dashboard, I selected this service. Now we are going to schedule this Lambda function to execute that on a recurrent schedule or a single schedule that we'll see how we can use that. So let's create the schedule. So you are on the event bridge console. Let's create a schedule. So you have to click the create schedule, and here you need to specify the schedule name. So welcome user schedule. Okay. And you can give a description. If you want to group the schedules that you have created, you can definitely do that using the schedule group. Now I'm using the default schedule group. I'm not going to add any other schedule group. You can create a schedule group and group the schedules to get it organized more better. So now I'm keeping it to default. Now this is the schedule pattern. So you can create one-time schedule or recurring schedule. As the name indicates, one-time schedule, you will be able to schedule the Lambda function only for that particular time that you have scheduled. So if you want a recurring schedule, if you want the Lambda function to get executed multiple times, so in a recurring fashion, you can use the recurring schedule option. Now I'm going to use the recurring schedule option. The time zone, I'm going to leave it to the default. You can create a cron-based schedule or a rate-based schedule. So now I'm going to create a rate-based schedule. So here, the rate expression you may need to provide. So one, and I'm going to provide here minute. So every 1 minute, our Lambda function will be triggered. Okay, and flexible window means if you choose the flexible window, the scheduler invokes your schedule within the time window that you specify. So I'm going to set it off because I don't need it for the demo right now. For time frame. So this is again another feature of this Amazon event bit scheduler. The daylight saving and all is automatically handled for you. And you can also schedule the start date time and end date time. So if you want to have the recurring schedule to happen within some particular date, So you can schedule that. So I'm not going to do that right now. So that time frame also you can configure here. Now let's get into the next screen by clicking the next button. Now using the event bit scheduler, you can trigger any of these code build, code pipeline. Today we are going to invoke the Lambda function. Now this is the screen. Now we have to select the welcome user function, and here we need to provide the payload. So the payload is the test event that we have configured, the 2BJ part, right? That we have to copy here, and we just need to paste it here. Okay, and you can change it for, you can give a different name. So let me just keep it as it is. Now, this is the payload or the test event, event JSON that we need to use it for the Lambda function, right? So this we have configured, and here also we need some more settings. So we can actually enable the schedule. So you can choose. So once the schedule is enabled, you will be able to right after the function is created or schedule is created, the schedule will be started. And you can also configure the action after schedule completion. If you want to delete the schedule, you can do that. Or you can actually click none also. So how the delete happens for a recurring schedule. So we have configured the end date, right? When there is a recurring schedule, you can configure the end date, right? After the end date, the schedule will be deleted for the recurring schedule. So now I'm not going to use this. I'm going to keep it none. And we have a retry policy and dead letter queue that is additional feature of this Amazon event bit scheduler. So you can retry the schedules. So by default, event bit scheduler attempts to retry the failed invocations for up to 24 hours. And how that is happening is that, the uh, dead letter queue is being used for that. So what is this dead letter queue? That is used for saving the unprocessed events, right? So right now I'm not going to use the retry option, but you can use that. Dead letter queue will store the unprocessed events, and later you can investigate those why that does not work. You can investigate that. So you can create your own Amazon dead letter queue that you can use, or I'm going to use the standard SQS queue that the event bit scheduler uses to store the events that couldn't be delivered successfully to a target. So I'm keeping this option to none, but retry and dead letter queue are going to help you with the retries and storing the unprocessed or events or the Lambda function execution. If it is not able to do, it will be stored on the dead letter queue. Later, you can do the investigation. So now, encryption. Encryption is your data is encrypted by default with the key that is owned by AWS, but you can actually provide a customer managed key also. This also I'm setting to default and permissions. Here also we need to create a role. So uh, in order to execute the schedule, the scheduler needs to access the Lambda function, right? So we're going to use an existing role that will have the permission to access the Lambda function. So scheduler role, that is the role that I'm going to use. Let me go to the console and I will show you the permission that is allowed to the scheduler role. So let me just quickly search this scheduler role. So if you look at the permission that is assigned to this scheduler role, there is a scheduler policy that is being attached, and you can see the Lambda invocation. So this scheduler role will have only the permission to access the Lambda function, right? So now we will click the next button, and I think we are almost done with the configuration of Amazon Event Bit Scheduler. Let's click Create Schedule. So we are going to see the execution now. How do we validate the execution? So one of the option is we should be able to get into the CloudWatch service. So before getting into the CloudWatch service, let's get back to the slide deck one more time, and we will just have a revision of the AWS event bit scheduler. So let me just quickly stop sharing and let me share the slide deck. I hope you are able to see the slide deck. So, so right now we saw the event bit scheduler. Now the event bits configuration, what we did. We had a scheduler pattern. We can configure one-time schedules as well as recurrent schedule. The recurrent schedule, we had cron-based schedule as well as rate-based schedule. Now, another important feature of event bit scheduler is that it will allow you to retry the schedules, and by default 24 within 24 hours the retry will happen, and you also have the provision to store the unprocessed schedules in the dead letter queue also. And you can also configure the action after the schedule completion. You can choose it to none, or you can delete the schedule once the schedule is completed. So now we are going to see the CloudWatch. CloudWatch is a service that you allow you to collect or track the metrics, monitor the log files, and set alarms. So we'll see this CloudWatch service soon, and we'll see if the scheduler has worked correctly and executed our Lambda functions. So let's dive into the CloudWatch console and see that quickly. So again, I'm going to stop sharing and we are going to get back to the AWS console. So are you able to see my screen? I hope you are able to, right? I think, yeah, it got loaded. So this is the CloudWatch console. So how I got into the CloudWatch console, I just typed the CloudWatch and selected the CloudWatch from here. And we'll be able to select the CloudWatch option from here and get into this dashboard. Okay. And we'll see if the schedules that we have configured had got executed in a moment. So we have to get into the log insights. Okay. And here we will be able to see the execution of the Lambda functions. So in the Lambda function tab also, we'll be able to see the CloudWatch tab. But the full view of monitoring will happen in the CloudWatch console. We'll see that in a moment. So I'm going on to the log insights. So here you can see the log insights or you can see the metrics also. So here let me see the metrics and I'll just configure here the Lambda function. So first we are going to set the 15 minutes time here and we are going to see the or observe the monitor the Lambda function, right? So I'm clicking the Lambda by function name. Let me select, and here I have to select invocation, right? So, so welcome user invocation. That is what that I'm going to select. Okay, so and draft metrics. Here the period is set to 5 minutes. Let me change to 1 minute, and you'll be able to see the execution part. See, it's getting executed. So you can see the execution of Lambda function. So one time we executed during the crafting Lambda function from the Lambda dashboard, we executed. These three executions are done using our schedule. Every minute, it is getting executed as per the configuration, right? So, so this is how invocation indicates the invocation count, right? How much time it got executed. That's what you would see here, right? So it would get updated. So every minute, our Lambda function is getting triggered, and you will be able to see the invocation added up here. Okay. So that's with respect to the CloudWatch monitoring, and I think we'll just get back to the Lambda also, and I'll just show you the CloudWatch tab on the Lambda also. So I think we missed once we were on the CloudWatch dashboard. So I'm getting into the Lambda function that we have created. And if you look at here, there is a tab called as Monitor. So when you go here, you will be able to see the integration with the CloudWatch here. So from here also, you can go to the CloudWatch console, but in this monitor area also, you should be able to see the metrics path. So CloudWatch X-rays. So you can see the CloudWatch metrics here also. So this is something that we missed, and I just wanted to show you a quick view of the integration with the CloudWatch. So inside the Lambda dashboard, you can see the invocation here, right? So I think that is the demo that I have planned. Let's get back to the slide deck, and we'll see the revision of what we have discussed now. That was interesting, right? The demo part. I hope you have enjoyed the demo. So let me quickly get back to the slide deck, and we'll just have a quick revision of what we have seen now, and yeah, we'll take it from there. So, so we just went through the CloudWatch and we saw the graph here. See the invocation part, we saw a beautiful graph, and we saw the execution of the Lambda function through the Amazon event scheduler. So I just want all of you to scan this QR code so that you can get into the Dev2 article that I've shared and try it out. The recipes that I've mentioned there, they are only small Lambda functions that you can start coding, and I think this would be a good start to try out the Lambda functions, schedule them using the event scheduler, and verify the results using the CloudWatch. So I want all of you to scan the code, and I think we'll take it from there.